Pawn Stars host Chumlee pays a small fortune for guest's Pokémon card with a rare defect. In the world of collectibles, where nostalgia meets investment and rarity often dictates value, few moments capture the imagination of fans and collectors quite like the unexpected windfall of a rare find. Such a moment unfolded on an unassuming episode of Pawn Stars, the long-running reality television series that chronicles the daily happenings at the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. Known for showcasing everything from vintage motorcycles and Civil War memorabilia to celebrity artifacts and antique weaponry, the show occasionally ventures into the realm of pop culture collectibles, none more explosively in recent years than trading cards, particularly Pokémon cards. It was during one such episode that Austin Chumlee Russell, one of the shop's most recognizable personalities, made headlines not for his usual comedic banter or laid-back demeanor, but for a surprising and significant purchase. Chumlee, often portrayed as the comic relief of the series, surprised both his colleagues and viewers when he agreed to pay a small fortune for a seemingly ordinary Pokémon card, one that, unbeknownst to many, carried a rare and valuable printing defect. The card in question was a first-edition base set Charizard, one of the most iconic and sought-after cards in the entire Pokémon TCG, trading card game, universe. Released in 1999 as part of the original English-language Pokémon card series by Wizards of the Coast, the base set Charizard quickly became a symbol of the franchise's meteoric rise in popularity. With its fiery orange scales, fierce expression, and powerful in-game abilities, Charizard has long been a fan favorite, and its card has become a holy grail for collectors. But what made this particular card so special wasn't just its condition or its age, it was a subtle, almost imperceptible flaw that turned it into a six-figure treasure. The card had a rare printing defect known among collectors as a reverse holo misprint. In standard Pokémon cards, the holographic foil effect is applied in a specific pattern, typically shimmering across the artwork and card frame in a uniform direction. However, due to a rare error during the printing process, this particular Charizard card had a reverse orientation of the holographic foil, meaning the light refracted in the opposite direction compared to normal cards. This defect, while seemingly minor, is exceptionally rare. Experts estimate that fewer than a dozen reverse holo misprints of the base set Charizard exist in confirmed circulation. Because the error was not caught during production and only became noticeable under close inspection, most of these cards were likely used in gameplay or discarded before their true value was recognized. The ones that survived in near-mint or mint condition are now considered among the rarest and most valuable Pokémon cards in existence. When the guest, a soft-spoken man in his late 30s from Southern California, walked into the gold and silver pawn shop carrying a protective top-loader case containing the card, he knew he had something special. He had inherited the card from his older brother, a passionate Pokémon player in the late 90s who had kept his collection meticulously stored in a fireproof safe. Over the years, the younger brother had heard rumors about the increasing value of old Pokémon cards, but it wasn't until he saw news reports of a PSA 10 graded Charizard selling for over $400,000 that he decided to get his card professionally appraised. The appraisal confirmed his suspicions. The card was not only a first-edition base set Charizard but also bore the elusive reverse holo misprint. Graded by PSA, Professional Sports Authenticator, at a remarkable 9 out of 10 for condition indicating only the slightest wear at the corners, with no scratches, creases, or clouding of the foil, the card was estimated to be worth between $150,000 and $250,000 at auction, depending on market demand. Armed with this knowledge, the guest traveled to Las Vegas, hoping to sell the card outright rather than go through the lengthy and uncertain process of auctioning it. He chose the gold and silver pawn shop not just for its fame, but because of its reputation for dealing in high-value collectibles and its history of making bold purchases on the show. When the card was first brought to the counter, it was Chumlee who took initial interest. While Rick Harrison, the shop's owner and primary negotiator, was busy with another customer, Chumlee happened to be nearby and recognized the card immediately. A longtime fan of pop culture and video games, Chumlee has often expressed his love for Pokémon, even joking on several episodes about wanting to find a valuable card in the shop's inventory. When he saw the PSA-graded Charizard, his eyes lit up. "Is that a real Charizard?" he asked, leaning in for a closer look. The guest nodded. "First edition. PSA 9. And it's got a misprint." Chumlee carefully examined the card under the light, tilting it to see the holographic effect. This is a reverse holo, isn't it? The guest confirmed it. Chumlee, now visibly excited, called over Corey Harrison, Rick's son and co-manager of the shop, to take a look. Corey, though more reserved, immediately recognized the significance. He pulled out his phone and began searching recent auction results and collector forums to verify the card's rarity and market value. By the time Rick Harrison joined the conversation, the team was already deep in discussion. Rick, known for his cautious approach to high-stakes purchases, was initially skeptical. "You're telling me this card is worth over $100,000 because of a printing error?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "That's exactly right," the guest replied. "It's not just any Charizard. It's one of the rarest variants in existence. There are only a few known examples." Rick turned to Chumlee. "You're the one who's into this stuff. What do you think?" Chumlee didn't hesitate. "Rick, this is like finding a unicorn. I've read about these misprints. They're legendary in the Pokémon community. If we don't buy this, someone else will, and they'll make a killing." Rick, ever the businessman, weighed the risks. Buying a $200,000 card outright was a significant investment, especially for a niche market that, while booming, could be volatile. However, recent trends in the collectibles world, fueled by nostalgia, social media, and high-profile sales, had shown that rare Pokémon cards were not just toys, but legitimate alternative assets. After consulting with a third-party expert via video call, another regular feature of Pawn Stars when dealing with ultra-rare items, Rick agreed that the card was authentic and that the misprint was genuine. The expert confirmed that only 3 other reverse holo Charizards had surfaced in the past 5 years, all of which had sold privately for between $180,000 and $300,000. With the verification complete, Rick turned to the guest. "We'll offer you $175,000 for the card." The guest, who had hoped for at least $200,000, hesitated. "I've seen similar cards go for more," he said. Chumlee, sensing the deal might fall through, stepped in. "Look, we're offering you cash today. No fees, no waiting, no risk. You walk out with a check. That's valuable." After a tense pause, the guest agreed. "All right. I'll take it." The moment the deal was sealed, Chumlee couldn't contain his excitement. "Dude, we just bought a piece of Pokémon history," he exclaimed, holding the card up to the light. "This is insane." The purchase was one of the largest in Pawn Stars history for a single pop culture item, and certainly the most expensive Pokémon card the shop had ever acquired. It marked a turning point in how the show and its audience viewed modern collectibles. No longer were vintage guns and classic cars the only items capable of commanding 6-figure prices. A child's trading card from the late 90s, once traded in schoolyards for stickers and candy, could now be worth more than a luxury car. The aftermath of the sale sent ripples through the collectibles community. Pokémon card collectors, investors, and fans took to social media to discuss the transaction, with many expressing shock and admiration. "If Chumlee can spot a reverse holo misprint, maybe I should start re-examining my old binders," one Reddit user joked. Another commented, "This is why you never throw anything away. Your kids' old Pokémon cards could be your retirement fund." For Chumlee, the purchase was more than just a business decision, it was a personal victory. Often underestimated on the show for his easygoing nature and frequent comedic missteps, this moment allowed him to shine as a knowledgeable and passionate collector. It demonstrated that beneath the jokes and laid-back attitude was a genuine understanding of pop culture value and rarity. In the weeks following the episode's airing, interest in Pokémon cards surged once again. Auction houses reported increased submissions of vintage cards for grading, and online marketplaces saw a spike in searches for rare Pokémon misprints. The gold and silver pawn shop even began receiving calls from people claiming to have similar cards, hoping for their own payday. Behind the scenes, the shop took extra precautions with the Charizard card. It was placed in a climate-controlled display case within the shop's secure vault, joining other high-value items like vintage watches and rare coins. Rick Harrison later admitted in an interview that the purchase was a gamble, but one he was willing to take. "Collectibles are unpredictable," he said. But when you have something this rare, with this kind of demand, sometimes you just have to go for it. As for Chumlee, the experience deepened his appreciation for the world of collecting. "People think we're just buying junk," he said in a post-episode commentary. "But every once in a while, you find something that's more than just a thing. It's a piece of history. It's a memory. And yeah, sometimes it's worth a lot of money. But it's also about the story." The story of the misprinted Charizard card is a modern-day treasure hunt, a reminder that value can be hidden in the most unexpected places. It speaks to the power of nostalgia, the unpredictability of markets, and the enduring cultural impact of a franchise that began as a simple video game in the mid-90s. It also underscores a broader shift in how we define worth. In an age where digital assets, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies challenge traditional notions of value, physical collectibles like trading cards have experienced a renaissance. They are tangible, nostalgic, and increasingly treated as alternative investments. The rise in value of rare Pokémon cards, driven by scarcity, condition, and cultural significance, mirrors the way art, wine, and classic cars have long been collected and traded. Moreover, the Chumlee incident highlights the democratization of wealth through collecting. Unlike stocks or real estate, which often require significant capital to enter, trading cards were accessible to children and teens in the 90s. Many of today's most valuable cards were owned by ordinary people who simply held onto them, unaware of their future worth. Now, decades later, those same individuals are discovering that their childhood hobbies may have been the best financial decisions they ever made. The guest who sold the card to Chumlee said he planned to use the money to pay off student loans and start a small business. "I never thought a piece of cardboard could change my life," he said. "But here we are." As for the card itself, the gold and silver pawnshop has not yet decided whether to resell it at auction or keep it as a permanent display piece. Rick Harrison hinted that they might hold on to it for a while, allowing its value to appreciate further. "Sometimes the best move is to wait," he said. In the meantime, the episode remains one of the most talked about in Pawn Stars history. Clips of Chumlee examining the card and making the purchase have gone viral on YouTube and TikTok, introducing a new generation to the show and to the world of collectibles. Ultimately, the story of Chumlee's rare Pokémon card purchase is about more than money. It's about passion, timing, and the unexpected ways in which the past can resurface with profound impact. It's a testament to the idea that value isn't always obvious. It often lies beneath the surface, waiting for the right person to recognize it. And in a world where so much feels disposable, it's comforting to know that sometimes, a simple piece of cardboard with a tiny printing error can become a priceless treasure.